and help you in building out your respective organizations. Randy's been sensational. So has Kurt Shewell. Kurt's assistant, Brooke, has been godsend. We've got a tremendous marketing company. And then, of course, Jared Kaczynskis, my business partner, who is always on the horn here, and Claudio, the software engineer, have done just an outstanding job. I'm really, really, really happy with what this product is and how it can help you build your organization. But I do want to say it's not going to replace you picking up the phone and using that personality, right? You need to get acclimated with the scripts. You don't have to sell EXP. I think even the Alpha Group, I think very few people do a good job being able to sell EXP. Very few people. I think what you want to be great at is inviting people and seeing if they're open-minded. Be great at inviting. Would you be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform that might allow you to keep more of your hard-earned commissions? And maybe Santush aligns with the long-term direction you'd like to take your real estate business by offering you multiple other streams of income, one of which happens to be a passive income stream. Is that something you just might find compelling? And would you be simply open to exploring together? You could say this one of 50 different ways, depending on your audience. Hey, Ron, would you be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform? I only want you to use the word open-minded. Otherwise, you're on your own. You have to formulate the right question that's comfortable to you, but you must ask somebody if they're open-minded, because people are basically going to say, yes, I'm open-minded, right? Nobody goes around saying, hey, I'm closed-minded. Would you be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform, Ron, that would allow you to have that all-important lead flow so you could absolutely explode your real estate business in terms of production, and also provide you a cap so you could keep more of your hard-earned commissions and make available multiple other streams of income. Make available multiple other streams of income to provide you and the family a sense of financial stability and security that has never existed before in the real estate sector. Is this something you'd be intrigued to learn more about, or would you simply open to exploring together? You could say that one of 50 different ways, and the more acclimated you get with the open-minded script, you could then modify it depending on who you're speaking with. We as coaches have a different ideology. And, I don't want you to think I'm not interested in building a relationship, because I am. I mean, people that know me will tell you the whole platform is predicated on what I would call relationship selling. It took me 3 years to bring in Luis Andrew Ruiz to the organization. He's the #1 team in the state of Florida now. It took me 3 years. So it is about relationship building. But I want to say this to you. Would anybody in today's call, I've said this before, right? You can't move a relationship forward if that relationship doesn't exist. If someone tells you out of the bat, I'm not open-minded, why would you put them into your drip campaign in the hopes that they're going to change? There's 1.5 million realtors. Move on. Yep. Move on. But I want to know from the very beginning. You're open-minded. You have to be open-minded. You have to commit to watching the videos. And you have to have in place a follow-up call with me so we could communicate and ascertain, if this platform makes sense both for you and having you as part of my group. It's got to be a win-win, right? Stop giving away the keys to the kingdom. You are the kingdom. You have the model that everybody wants. And I said this in the past call. Ron Rank, I want to highlight him. I want to acknowledge you. Ron, you had asked me, I talk about this a lot, but I've never kind of like broken it out the way that I did the other day. You had said to me, Eric, what are the 5 main components of why somebody would want to join EXP? Judy has heard me make these calls forever. And I always come back to one of these 5 things, always, right? And watch what I do. Every time I lay down a feature for you, I'm going to lay down a benefit. What are the 5 key components that you want to have right at your fingertips that you can converse with another person? Here we go. Number 1, feature. EXP has the top producing agents in the country. In more than 50% of the states, we have the #1 or #2 top producing agents. Deanne, that is the feature. Here we go. You ready for the benefit? The benefit is you are now surrounded by the top selling real estate agents on the planet that are pushing you to be the best professional version of yourself. Number one. Number two, lead flow. At eXp, we do more transactions per agent than any other brokerage firm on the planet. The average agent does 6.2 transactions because they are given significant lead flow. Here we go. Feature. What's the benefit? Who wants to help me here? What's the benefit? Benefit is so you could explode your level of production to take your business to a whole new level. So you have the opportunity to enjoy that. And that comes from KV Core, that comes from Realty.com, that comes from our Revnos program. Glenn has been maniacal. I'm not on script here. I'm just filling in the blanks for you. Glenn's been maniacal of making sure that we have lead flow. Because a lot of people will go, eXp is all about recruiting. No, eXp is first and foremost the most successful real estate sales organization on the planet, and there's no doubt about it. Just simply look at real trends. Okay, number three. What's number three? Guys, I want you to be interactive with me. Please don't make me work this hard. What's number three?
Stock awards.
Let's say it again, Judy.
Stock awards.
Awards. At eXp, are you aware that you have the ability to receive a reward, a gift, when you hit simple milestone? Stock is granted to you, right? Stock is granted to you, so you now have ownership in the brokerage that you're affiliated with. What's the benefit? That's the feature. What's the benefit? Benefit is you, in fact, do have ownership in the brokerage firm that you're working at. You have an additional stream of income that provides you an extra layer of financial security.
A way to build a retirement.
Exactly. And a way to build a retirement. Precisely. Number five. You have a cap.
Half is in there.
Cap. Oh, number four. Thanks, Matt. Let's go to Eric. Got ahead of yourself. Got you, Matt. Number four. Let's go to cap first. You have a cap in place to ensure you have a cap in place. Feature, benefit, to ensure that you are keeping more of what's rightfully yours, your hard-earned commissions. Number five, revenue share. The company shares its revenue with their agents who are simply helping to grow and build the company. The company last year distributed $174 million. Feature, benefit. You have the good fortune of having a passive and residual income, transforming your business from being solely transactional to now having a passive and residual income, so you could get paid like a broker without having any of the financial or managerial responsibilities of being a broker. Is that not amazing? That's it. Ron, I could not have put this together without you asking me that the other day. It just triggered something. I think, sometimes you say things over and over again, and I never realized the value or the significance. But if you listen to me on the call, right? Same thing over and over again, right? I could regurgitate it different ways, but I'm coming back to one of the five key components on a continuum. And you do not always have to talk about revenue share. You don't. Somebody says, I never, ever want to talk about eXp. I'm not that type of person. Great. Why argue? The beauty in asking is they'll tell you what's important to them. You don't have to guess. Oh, Trish, it's good to see you. Don't even worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. Right? Ask, and they'll tell you what they need. They will lead you to a pot of gold if you're not talking at people, but simply asking questions. All right. Does that make sense for everybody? Was that helpful?
Yes, I thank you. I can listen to you do it over and over and over again. So just hearing you do it, like that's the voice I want on my shoulder when I'm having conversations with people to change their lives. So thank you.
Thanks. And Ann, use that smile to reach out to people. When you smile into the phone and know you're going to have a successful conversation, you're going to have a successful conversation. It's that simple, right? But if you're inclined to think, oh, I'm nervous to pick up this phone, what you think about is going to manifest itself in your life. I said this in the previous call, and again, it's worth repeating. There are three things that are going to fuel your fire. There are three things that you have to have in place when it comes to mindset to building this out. One, you got to have a burning desire. You got to be able to, you got to be willing to swim through rivers or crawl over mountains in order to achieve what you want. It's got to be there. Me, I was so damn broke. I went from the penthouse to the outhouse like nobody I've ever seen, where my love of my life is my kid. I've been divorced since he's 1.5. And when he looked at me and said, Dad, I got into Syracuse University. Sorry, I hate talking about this. But he said to me, Dad, I got into Syracuse University. And I had to look at him and say, I can't afford your college education. It's the saddest day of my life. Because my mantra, I went to UCLA. My brother and sister are both doctors. Education's super important in our family. And I always believed it was a responsibility I have as his parent to pay for college education. I had to look at him and say, Jackson, I can't afford your college education. I was so hell-bent on never leaving this earth in that place that I needed to dust myself off and get back up on this horse and show what success and persistence and determination and commitment meant. I would have done anything. I would have absolutely done anything, to the point, I didn't pick my head up for 4 years. You got to want it. It has to be there, desire. Number 2, faith. You got to believe that you are worthy of it and that you could do it. You have to have that faith. And I think the biggest thing is a lot of times we don't believe that we're deserving. You have to believe that it's going to happen and that you're worthy of it happening, because what you think about, I promise you, will manifest itself in your life. And the third, you have to have a game plan. And that game plan is given out to you, through Attraction Flow, Attract Boss, and soon to be collectively Attractify. It has to be there for you, and you simply have to follow it, right? You simply have to follow it. Follow the blueprint. I don't know why I'm sweating through my shirt today. I'm in a t-shirt, go figure. Makes sense? Anybody have any questions or any comments about their business before we start rolling into calls?
Thank you, Eric, for that mindset clarity, because without that, I don't care how many scripts we have or what CRM we have or anything like that. Without that, we're not as powerful as we can be. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, sometimes, we don't believe that we're worthy of it, right? I mean, there was a time in life, I went at 58, I had been super successful and I lost everything at 58. And there were times where, I questioned whether or not I believed in myself anymore. And I look at Jackson and think, I love him so much. I loved him.
Hey, Eric, I'm proud of who you've become, man. I don't know you prior to, just not too long ago, but hearing your story and seeing you right in this moment, I think there's a lot of grace you can give yourself for who
No,
you've
thank you.
become.
I
'Cause
think that,
a lot of men would have gone a different direction, Eric, and you didn't. So I'm proud of you for that.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I think for me, even at times where I may not have believed in myself, I would look at him. And I think that my love for him transcended the feelings that I may have had about myself. So, if you doubt yourself, if you're not feeling like you're in the right place, remember, those of you that have kids or people that are important to you in your life, that, you have an opportunity to look at them and say, I know it's hard for me right now to see the value that I bring, but I love this person so much that I need to stay locked in. I need to mirror what success looks like. I need to mirror what the word commitments is like. Each and every day when you
don't know
this. Say again.
this, but this new AI app that Apple has
know where it's coming from, but anyway. I think that, when you know, each and every day, when you question yourself, start off with an affirmation, you know, each and every day in the new app, it's going to have an affirmation each and every day on there for you to look at and remember how special you are, how talented you are. The fact that you do have a shining star, that each and every one of us have what I would call a beautiful inner child. And sometimes we move away from that child because of different things that have happened in our life, via trauma or whatever it is. But remember, you have an incredible opportunity, right? Remember how special you are, and remember that you have a shining light. Approach each and every day and maximizing that. You know, a person that I quote often is John Wooden, who was the UCLA basketball coach. I think that was the reason that I went to UCLA. I grew up in New York till I was 18, and I moved to California at 18. And Wooden used to say, make each and every day your masterpiece, right? You don't get to redo life. So maximize each and every day. So you don't have to look back over your shoulder and say, I would have, I could have, or I should have done it differently. All right, guys and gals. Anybody have any comments about their business? Any questions before we roll into calls? And my son tells me I'm obsessed with him. Go figure.
In the spirit of John Wooden, so what we're doing here today is we're learning to tie our shoes, right, Coach Eric?
That's right. We are learning to tie our shoes because it does start with fundamentals. Wooden would start, the most successful coach in the history of coaching would start every practice down. That's right. With the best players on the earth, how to tie their shoes. Kind of crazy, huh? Amazing. Amazing. Anybody want to share any wins that they've had over the last couple of weeks? Nobody?
I'll go.
And what's going on?
My first day calling, I had 5 conversations, and my first one said, if you would have called me 2 weeks ago, I would be super down to have a conversation. She goes, but my broker's already made me promise I'm not leaving because he's going to do this and this and this and this. And I'm like, that is a hardcore win because you've told me you're open to a conversation, and I don't really believe that he's going to do what he said he would do for her. So I'm just going to stay in conversation and keep having the conversation. But I was like, oh, I just needed to call 2 weeks earlier. That's all.
How could you address that? Because what did she give you, Ann? What did she give you?
All right. So she's a racehorse. She called herself a racehorse. She's a newer agent and killing it. She wants to start farming. And her broker, you know, it seems like has sort of just let her kind of run and do her own thing. And he's promised to get in and be helpful with figuring out how to farm. And so that's where things stand. She had kids in the background, and I was like, cool, well, check back in with you in a week or so. And I know I should have scheduled the appointment, but I don't think she was going to give it to me at that
I want
moment.
to ask you a question. When she said to you, I can't move anymore because my broker made lots of, what is that? What is that called? What did she put in front of you? It's an objection.
Objection.
How could you have potentially handled that objection? I'm going to open this up to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you just some insight on how to handle objection. First of all, if you go into the site, there are 8 main objections that you're going to hear over and over and over again. Take the time to internalize those, because it makes no sense to sit there and get nervous when someone gives you an objection. Take the time to understand you're going to get hit with them. And the more comfortable and confident you are in how you handle it will determine how successful you are. But what could Ann have not told this person? Because we don't talk in sales, we ask because we want to remain engaged with somebody, right, Ann?
Yes.
What could Ann have asked that person? I know Matt knows the answer to this. I have it at the tip of my tongues, but I want you to work through this. And I want you to think about objection handling the following way. I'm going to cheat with you guys for a second. When someone gives you an objection, I want you to feel for a second the following, right? They're not giving you an objection to being mean. They're giving you an objection because there's an obstacle in standing in front of them or sitting in front of them that's inhibiting them from moving forward. When someone gives you an objection, I want you to take the time to breathe. If you don't know how to handle it, breathe. And you have to sit in your own crap for a second. I know that seems very graphic, but you do. You have to sit in your own crap for a second, right? And I want you to formulate, if you were debating this person on a debate stage, what would be your argument? What would you convey to them? And I want you to formulate what those words sound like. And when you're debating somebody, correct me if I'm wrong, that's typically set up to be somewhat confrontational, but we're not looking to be confrontational. So I want you to formulate what you would say if you were debating them. And then what I want you to do is take the words that you formulated and put it then in the form of a question using a tie down, right? So I want you to formulate the words. I want you to be well thought out. And then I want you to use a tie down and ask a question, because now you're no longer talking at, you're no longer debating, you're engaging with. Because Ann, if I ask you a question, you have to respond to me, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You've heard me do this before, haven't you?
I have.
I could do this for the next 5 hours, couldn't I?
You do this all night long.
This is called a tie down, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And that is what you're going to get really good at. So that's what makes somebody. So how would Ann handle this? How would Ann handle this? My broker's been really good to me. Anybody want to take a shot at this?
I have a question. So I don't know if this is where you're going with this, but to me, I would probably say, oh, that's really interesting. Well, tell me, why didn't your broker offer you that before?
Okay. Well, you could do it that way.
Mhm.
That is one way. Dan, I want you to think though, if you were debating, give it more oomph. So add more to it. What's in your heart? What do you think? How would you respond to that?
Hmm.
Well, it does. If your broker offered you all that, you've got the greatest platform in the whole world, right? So why don't we do this? Let's compare and contrast what your broker is offering you versus what EXP might offer you. That will allow you to make an informed decision. Now I
That's
just talked
great.
to you. If I
That's
said
great.
that to you,
Yeah.
you'd say, hey, Eric, get out of here, right? Because I'm telling you what to do. But if I said to you, Deanne, Ann, could you be in any better position to simply compare and contrast what you're getting from your existing brokerage partner versus what EXP may be able to provide? Could you be in any better position to be able to dissect that and see which one best works for you? I didn't talk at Deanne. I asked Deanne questions there. So think, feel, go deep, Deanne. Let it come from your heart. Go deep and then take it and put it in the form of a question. And does that make sense what I just said?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Congratulations. That is awesome that your broker saw your value.
great. So
Aren't
great.
you
So
in an
it's so
enviable
great.
aren't you in an enviable position? Could you be in any better position to be able to compare and contrast what your broker is now offering you versus what EXP is able to provide, so you can make a well-informed decision? What is in your best interest, Ann? Aren't you in a great position? When would you be available to take 15 minutes of your time and have that conversation? It's not magic what I just did. It's just I'm implementing tools and systems. That's all. Nick, how you doing, bud? Questions or comments?
Great. I'm great and grateful. Thank you. Hey, can I add in two little John Wooden things?
Sure.
One is that I thought it was interesting. Apparently his players used to say they couldn't wait till game day so they could just relax and play basketball because their practices were so rigorous, right? And the other one was he was asked, I think at one point, whether he scouted other teams' videos, before games. And he said no, is my understanding. And I've got chills running down my arms when I say this. He said, I don't want to be worried about what the other team's doing. I want them to be worried about what we're doing. And I think that translates perfectly into agent attraction. There is no response that can throw me off my daily activity goals.
That's exactly, you're 1000% correct. That is exactly what Wooden said, because Wooden was about perfecting the skills that his players had, so they could be as efficient as possible and win every basketball game out there. So you're 1000%, Nick. You're 1000% correct. All right, anybody else? Anybody have any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Trish, what do
So,
you got?
I have a lot of people to follow up with, and most of whom I don't really have a relationship with because I cold called and they get the drip and that's it. So I'm wondering what you would use as a good follow-up. I've heard some of them, but I'd love to hear that again.
So you had a conversation with somebody. Well, typically in a conversation, if they made your database, you know that they're EXP curious, they've committed to watching the videos, and they have a follow-up call with you. If I had not spoken to somebody, they typically blew me off on step number. So this would be on your second call, right? You sent out a text 30 minutes prior to the call. They never showed up to the call, just making this up. Okay. They're blowing you off. You would then implement an automation. That's a 7 email automation. In step number 7, if someone blew you off, you're going to send them out a 7 email automation. Trish, you're looking like, if you go, I'll show you exactly where this is. But what's going to happen is I would pick up the phone because I would still keep them. I would probably downgrade them from being typically what would be warm. I would downgrade them to a cold lead. Because at one point in time, they had indicated to me that they were EXP curious, receptive to joining my organization, and committed to watching the videos. And then what would happen is I would probably follow up with them either every 4 or 6 months. So once a quarter, once every 6 months. And I would simply resume the conversation by saying, Trish, I'm looking at my notes here and realized that you and I had connected about 6 months ago. We seemed to have a really nice conversation. And you had indicated at that point in time that EXP was something that you felt was intriguing, if nothing else. And I simply wanted to circle back and see if you'd be open-minded to further exploring EXP by looking at the platform and what it might have to offer versus what you're getting at your existing brokerage firm to see what is in your best interest and just in your best interest. It's as simple as that, right? And that's how you want to come at it, Trish. So basically, I know that you and I connected approximately 6 months ago, really enjoyed our dialogue. And at that point in time, you had indicated that you found EXP to be somewhat compelling. I was simply circling back to see if you'd be open-minded to further exploring that conversation and taking the time to look at what you're getting at your existing brokerage platform versus what EXP may be able to provide so you can make a decision that is in your best interest.
Perfect. Thank you.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Come at
absolutely.
it from a position of strength. Come at
Yep.
it from a position of strength. Had a nice conversation, complement that with circling back to see if this is something that you wanted to look at once again.
And would you leave that as a message?
I know because I want to reconnect with them.
Okay.
I mean, I'm leaving messages once I know somebody's in the fold that they are absolutely, there's a dialogue between they and I, but I'm not looking to, hey, you and I spoke 6 months ago. That's going to be deleted right off the bat. So no, I'm not leaving a message in something like that. I'm leaving a message when I am entrenched with somebody.
Gotcha. Okay,
And
thank you.
there's a high level of comfortability. And again, I want to highlight to all of you, do not feel, there are people that are going to take a long time to join your organization. Louis Andrew Ruiz, the Louis Andrew Group, he's going to be at the conference here in Miami. #1 team in the state of Florida. It took me 3 years to bring him in. I mean, I felt, man, such a lack of love at times, right? I was like, what happened to this relationship? And he wanted, people are going to come in when they feel the timing is right for them. Our goal as good salespeople are not to walk somebody to the edge of a cliff and push them. Our goal is to listen to their wants and needs. And when they're ready to jump, we're simply there to catch them. That's it. That is it. Orlando Montiel came in. That was a cold call. Came in within 30 days. I knew after the 3rd conversation, I said, boy, this guy could be big. He's a real estate coach, and every Spanish-speaking agent in Miami is affiliated with him. So but I could tell there were buying signs. Louis Andrew Ruiz, 3 years. And I sent him out a drip campaign. It was really funny. And he happened to reach out to me. He goes, I really liked the last thing that you wrote, the last email that you sent me. He said, Eric, do you believe that life is about timing? I said, I actually do. He said, good, because I'm ready to get married. I'm joining EXP. And he moved over his 60 agents. But spend time nurturing relationships with people that warrant your time. Remember, we don't get paid until we do a transaction or somebody actually joins and starts producing. So choose wisely who you're going to spend time and put forth effort into.
Yeah, I'm getting a little more discriminating. Thank you.
And, you could even get discriminate to the point, there have been people, recently I said to somebody, I am absolutely the wrong person to be your sponsor. I just do not see this as being beneficial for either one of us. I'm really sorry to be that transparent, but I'm sure you'd like me to be honest with you from the get-go. I mean, I don't want somebody cancerous that's in my organization. I do not want somebody that's tearing at me 24/7. I want somebody that's empowering me, that is like-minded and wants to grow with my assistance. And I want to hammer you with the following. If you will spend 60 to 90 minutes a day, I still do this. If you spend 90 minutes a day asking the appropriate questions, using the open-minded script, you will identify a minimum of 3 people that you could put in your database. If you do this 5 days a week, and I love Nima. I don't see Nima on the call right now. I love Nima, but Nima will call for 9 hours. I don't get that. I couldn't do that. If you'll simply, I want this to be easy for you. I don't want you to feel like you have to give up your life, man. What I want to do is I want this to be easy for you. Commit to calling for 60 to 90 minutes. I call for 90 minutes. My goal is 3 people in my database, and I'm not willing to move my boundaries in terms of who gets into my database. They have to be open-minded. They have to commit to watching the videos and having a follow-up call with me, period. No negotiating my boundaries there, right? But 3 people a day, at the end of 5 days, I've got 15 people in my database. At the end of a month, you ready? You got 60 people in your database. At the end of a year, and I promise you the year is going to move quickly, you're going to have 720 people in your database. And do you realize you've got a multi-$100,000 business? You get to choose whether or not you want to sell real estate anymore. That's it. You get to make that choice. Question is it worth it? Is it worth the investment? Well, let's be really honest with each other. How many people on today's call, if you were making $25,000 a month in passive income, would it not change your life? Of course, it would change your life, and you're worthy of it. And I'm not one of these people that say, burn the ship, stop selling real estate. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Burn the ship. That's typically your sponsor telling you to sabotage your business so you could build them an organization. There's somebody in my organization that used to say that, and it used to feel like, nails on a chalkboard. No. If you're out there selling, you are communicating with another realtor. Right? As you're doing a transaction, watch how simple and easy. Trish and I have been doing a transaction. We're not, this is make-believe. Trish and I are doing a transaction for 30, 60 days. Right? And there's a nice rapport. And I say to her, Trish, thanks so much. I really enjoyed doing this transaction with you. Let it come from your heart. Trish, you really displayed a high level of professionalism and came off as a really, really nice person. I hope you'll take this as a compliment. Trish, would you be open-minded to maybe exploring a brokerage platform that allowed you to keep more of your commissions and maybe aligned with the long-term direction that you'd like to take your real estate business by making available multiple other streams of income? Is this something you might find compelling? And would you be simply open to exploring together? Boom. Now let's expand that for a second. Let's expand our minds. Where else can you do this? Well, you could go to board events. You can go to title events. You can go to lending events, right? You can go to a Tom Ferry event. Signing up for one right now. I don't sell real estate anymore. Never selling real estate again. I'm going to a Tom Ferry event. Do you think I have a crush on Tom Ferry and I have a desire to go to his event to see Tom or listen to his words? Going to an event because there's thousands of agents at that event, that if I fall over myself, if I was drunk and stupor, I'm going to collect 300 to 400 business cards. And I'm not going to sell anybody an EXP. I'm simply going to flash a smile. I'm going to ask them questions about their family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And after the conference, I'm going to circle back to them and let them know how much I enjoyed getting to say hello and meeting them. But I'm going to have 400 business cards to work with. Now, do you think there's a good chance I can convert 10 of those people, you're making this harder than it needs to be. Stop it. Stop putting yourself through this ridiculous, crazy treadmill that you can't get off of. Make this easy for yourself. Ron, what do you got, buddy?
Is there a best time of the day for those 90 minutes?
Some people say 4 to 7. I like, by 4 to 7, I'm pretty much done with it. I start mine throughout the day. I call mine, if I got on the, we make this call from 2 to 4. I don't think it's about when. I think the fact is, I just want you to do it. I want you to just do it, Ron.
Right.
Don't put that pressure. I want to alleviate, you have to do it at this time. No, I want to make this easy for everybody. Look at this as an opportunity. Look at this as an opportunity to simply reach out and be a servant leader. Think of yourself as a servant leader, allowing your star to shine as brightly as possible. And you get to do that. You get to be that servant leader, whatever you choose to. I'm going to make this easy on you. I'm not going to put demands, do it at this time. Let's take off all of the demands, right? Let's take all of the demands, but you have to reach out to people. Don't put obstacles in front of yourself. There are certain agents, oh my God, what do I do next? Some of this is common sense, right? Some of this is common sense. You all have that common sense. Trust yourselves. Trust yourselves. You'll make the right decisions. Anybody else before we start calling? Questions, comments? Anything about your business that you'd like to share? About growing your business that you'd like to share? Anybody have any fears around this that's inhibiting them? Be honest. It's a good one, huh? Anybody have any concerns or fears that's inhibiting them from having the success that they want? Assurance of things unseen. Dan, wow. Assurances of things that are unseen. You got to just turn it over. You just got to turn it over. A lot of this is going to sound very kind of hokey and holistic, but you just got to believe. And you remember that you're a precious child of God and that you are, loved, and, someone is there to take care of you and watch over you, and just let it speak from your heart. And who gives a crap if a conversation goes bad? If someone's a total ass to you, that's not about you, right? I never own it. Someone's short and nasty. All right, maybe they got in a fight with their significant other this morning. Maybe the dog peed on their carpet. There are no assurances in life, but I'm not going to let it impact me in a negative way. Nobody gets to go in there and pee in my cornflakes. I know that was pretty graphic. Sorry. Ron, what were you going to say? And if something goes bad in a conversation, Dan, it's a good question. What assurances? We don't have assurances in life. The only thing that we could do is be kind to ourselves, love ourselves, respect ourselves, nurture ourselves, be easy on ourselves, find the things that make us special. No assurances in life. Just like we love our children, right? Our children are also perfectly imperfect, yet we tend to love them. Dan, you have kids? 4.
4 girls.
Probably love.
Yeah.
You probably love the hell out of them, don't you?
I'm obsessed, just like you.
Okay. Completely obsessed with our children, right? Completely obsessed with our children.
Mhm.
But they're all perfectly imperfect, aren't they? We see
Absolutely.
warts, emotional, we see character defects in all of them, but we love them. You need to embrace your inner child like that. And remember, at the end of the day, that inner child wants that same love that your kids need. So you need to be kind to yourself and realize that there aren't any assurances in life. But when you are calling agents, who cares if a conversation goes bad?
Mhm.
I'm not perfect 100% of the time at every call. Sometimes I'm off in a conversation. I'm human. I'm forgiving, and I move on to the next one. And I typically don't end my day in a bad conversation. I think before I leave, I'll continue to make 4 or 5 more calls until I end on a positive note. If someone's mean, if someone's nasty, it usually has nothing to do with you. The assurance is this. You ready for my assurance to you? Do this an hour a day, and I'll make any of you a bet right now. Your $1 to my 100, that you'll have a significant business in a year. 90 minutes a day where you are 90 minutes a day when you are calling and building a database in a year, I bet you have business where it's an aha moment where you look back over your shoulder and go, I cannot believe what I was able to accomplish. That's empowering. That's an assurance, Deanne. You like that assurance? Focus on that.
For me, it's like changing the way that I am. I am a D person, a straight person, and now you have to do the questions and attract the other person with the questions, and I have to change how I think, how I am.
You're perfect the way you are. You're one of the happiest people I've ever met. I mean, you can ask Trish. We see you on this call. You smile from ear to ear, right? You're constantly smiling. Be who you are. Just instead of, when you're communicating, I'm not telling you to stop being loving and kind and all of the wonderful attributes you have. What I'm saying is when you're communicating, simply put your thoughts or feelings into the form of a question. So now you're engaging. But remember, part of your love is, that you love people. If you love people by asking them questions, you're understanding how you could help meet their needs. You could understand how to solve their problems. And that's an indication that aligns with who you are, Carmen, right? You are all about being happy and loving into people. But when you're asking someone's questions and you're being a servant leader, isn't that displaying that same love? It's a different way of looking at it.
Yep, it's true.
All right, who wants to start off with a call? I got to take a breath. I need some water. Who wants to start off with a call today? Come on.
I volunteer Matthew. Not my.
Matthew, you've been volunteered.
All right, let's rock and roll. My focus is follow-up, geographic focus, Florida, Miami, since we're going to EXPCon, and I want to see if I can still get someone to, at the very least, come a day to EXPCon and utilize an Explorer Pass. So I don't know, Eric, on these sessions, are you doing just straight cold list, or what's kind of this is my first time.
I think that's a great niche. That's a great niche that you talked about. So how would you articulate that? I'm looking at a production report, Matthew, and I noticed that you've been successful for an extended period of time. I hope you'll take this call as a compliment. I happen to be coming into the Miami area to attend EXPCon, and I'm looking for like-minded people that are interested in taking their real estate business to the next level. And looking at a production report, I see that you'd be defined as one of those people. And I was simply calling to see if you'd be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform and be open to accepting an invitation to go to EXPCon to learn more about the fastest growing real estate company on the planet that offers agents multiple streams of income and a cap to keep more of your commission. Is this something that you might find compelling? And would you be open to simply exploring this with me?
I love it. Good stuff. Now I'm calling people that are already saved in I've had conversations with them before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. So they're saved in my phone. I've already had the first call, second or third call, letting them know that I'm touching down in Miami Friday night, going to be there a week. Let's see if we can connect in our busy schedules or whatever.
So much. I really enjoyed talking to you. And I'm going to be in Miami, and I wanted to take this time as an opportunity, not just to say hello, but to meet you in person. And if I'm willing to work this hard just to meet you, how hard might I work on your behalf? Would you be open to stopping by EXPCon for a couple of days to say hello and learn more about the company, to see if it potentially aligns with the direction you want to take your business?
I love it. So I'm just pulling up my hashtag Florida in my phone. So where I left off on my calls yesterday. So
Matthew, it's a great idea, by the way. I did not do that. It's a great idea.
It's a time sensitive idea, right? Because we're just going to be there for the week or whatever, and I'm out in California. But Sorry, let me get back to if you have one ready, Eric, go ahead. I have no problem calling. I just got to get back to where I left off yesterday.
By the way, last week's call, anybody on last week's call with us?
Yeah.
Do you remember I had called an agent in San Diego, Stephen with Caldwell Banker? Remember I called him on a cold call? Guy is a monster. He's been in the industry for 4 years. He has slayed the dragon. He's referred 7 people to Caldwell Banker this year.
Ain't got
Before we got
nothing.
off the phone, he said to me, Matt, you're going to love this. Says to me, Eric, I will bet you any amount of money that you want that I can bring in 20 capping agents in a year because I don't recruit people. I simply attract. Now, at this point in time, my tongue is right. My tongue is on the floor. Folks, you ready? I have a meeting set up with him the day I get back from Miami when I'm in Puerto Rico next Friday to move the relationship forward. He is significantly interested. This would be four major people on my front line. You ready? That I met through a cold call. I had never spoken to Orlando Montiel.
Absolutely.
I had never spoken to Luis Andrew Ruiz. I had never spoken to Steve. I'm not putting him below me, by the way. I'm putting him below somebody in my downline. It's the first time I've ever done this. But I want to give back.
Oh, and you'll keep the FLQA, right? You'll do the dual placement.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, smart.
And
Well,
you
that's awesome.
used your script, your regular, hey, are you open-minded when you called this guy? Did you tell him who
You were on last week.
I was. I don't remember exactly what you said.
I asked him if he would be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform that may allow him to keep more of his commissions and maybe aligns with the long-term direction he'd like to take his real estate business by offering him multiple streams of income. He had me on the phone, I'm going to say, for about 20 minutes, but it's a home run. I mean, it's an absolute home run.
Are these calls recorded?
These are recorded.
And
Yeah, so you
Go
booked
back and
your
listen.
where do I go hunt them up?
We're gonna put in Attractify in the Attractify workplace. So Randy and I, we're gonna move away from Attract Boss and Attraction Flow and put everything in Attractify.
And it's in the main group, not in the chat, right?
What we're gonna do is, no, in the chat, no, Deanne. Chat, this is reserved for you guys, people that are members of, it's exclusive. People are paying for this. And you guys, should have access to these tools. But I'm not gonna put it in work chat. Nope.
So your process was you called him up, built relationship on the phone, then you booked an appointment. He
Booked
met
an
your
appointment.
tree, he agreed to watch the videos, he's open-minded, so on.
And set a follow-up appointment.
Yeah, so you booked an
Went
appointment.
Went through it. On the second appointment, we had what's called a rating call. Rating call is I start with an assumptive close. Matt, was that not the best brokerage platform you've ever seen? Have you ever seen a platform that offers that level of coaching, training, support, and technology, ensuring that we could be the best professional version of ourselves, and also makes available multiple streams of income, putting ourselves in a position to have a level of financial security that realtors had never had previously? Is that not amazing? Yes,
Yeah,
Eric, it is.
it was pretty amazing when I watched it.
Matt, what questions came up for you? And now's my time to be a really good listener. Now's my time to not be the star on the big screen and let somebody else talk and me sit there and enjoy my buttered popcorn and just ask him a question and listen and then respond. I wrap up the call by asking them to rate themselves, right? Matt, I was wondering if you can give me some clarity here. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 having absolutely no interest in joining EXP, and 10 clearly understanding the strength of this platform and how it would help you grow your business, and you are ready to join today, where do you stand on a scale from 1 to 10? No matter what he says other than 10 is, Eric, I'm at a 7 right now. What would it take, Matt, to move that needle into a 10? He is going to give us a list of the things that is inhibiting them from moving forward. I don't have to guess. He's going to tell me, right? He's going to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, one of three things are going to happen. He's going to tell me I'm ready right now. Great. I'm going to have to sign the join app. There's nothing to sell. He's going to say to me, Eric, I want to learn more about the numbers of EXP and get a better handle on that. If he's a big enough client, I'm going to do it one-on-one with him. Otherwise, I'm going to put him onto my group call that I do every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, or every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, where I go through the model for 40 minutes. Or Matt's going to say to me, Eric, I want to learn more about the technology. I need to get a better feel of EXP. I'm going to put him on a group call with Vonda Kozar every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Vonda takes people on a tour of EXP World for 1 hour, pointing out everything about the technologies, pointing out everything about EXP World, and then goes through the three main technologies in detail: KV Core, Workplace, and SkySlope. So I let the system work its magic. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, just wanted to know your process. So so you did already have a meeting with him, and now your meeting after EXPCon, when you get back, I guess next week or whatever, is the second or third meeting?
So this is my second meeting, was the rating call.
Yeah.
He liked it. He had 1,000 questions. I think it was my longest rating call. 1,000 questions. He talked to me a lot about himself. And then I decided he's significant, so I'm not going to put him on a group call. So I'll do a one-on-one call with him because he wants to go through the numbers in detail.
What was the number he gave you in the question of 1 to 10 on the rating?
He was at a 8 or 9. He knows that he has to make a move. What I think I did a good job in understanding Matt and highlighting for him is when he told me that he would recruit a minimum of 20 camping agents the first year. Well, let's talk about this, right? First of all, he paid Caldwell Banker $49,000 in commission last year. He's an icon agent. What would he pay EXP? Matt, that's a savings right there of $49,000. Plus, he told me he's going to recruit 4,000 people. Pardon me, he's going to recruit, he's going to recruit 20 people at $4,000. How much is that?
Yeah, 80 grand.
80,000 plus 49 is $129,000. $129,000. That's not including those 20 agents, the agents that they may bring in, and other income he would hit from hitting simple production milestones, like every time one of those 20 agents sell their first home, he's going to get compensated. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
We're looking at a swing of probably $150.
$150,000.
$150,000, sorry. We're looking at a swing of $150,000. What would be the next appropriate question to ask him? You see, I'm always coming back to questions, right? Carmen, watch.
Yeah. Then you would ask him, how would that make a difference in your life? Or what would you do with the $150,000? Or how would that impact your family?
Better yet, this is Gene Frederick. I got to give Gene.
Yeah.
This was brilliant. How long do you plan on selling real estate for, Matt? Give me a number.
Yeah, I'll do, figure another 10 years. I like it.
Matt, do you realize you'd be saving $150,000? If you plan on being in real estate for the next 10 years, you're now talking about $1.5 million. Matt, what would that mean to you and the family? That $1.5 million.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I probably wouldn't do 10 then. I'd probably stop at 5.
Great problem to have.
All right.
Great problem to have. So, he rated himself. We went through the numbers. I did exactly what I just took you through the same exercise that I took him through. And then I said, I'd like to spend some time really getting to know you and putting a voice with a face. I'd love to jump on a Zoom call. So I don't ever believe you set up a Zoom call on your second call. Because what happens is somebody that has to be in front of their computer, you're making them jump through hoops. And we don't want to do that. We want to simplify everything. So my second call is always, the rating call is always done on the phone. Now, third call, he's interested. He's an icon agent. He's a builder. What would be the appropriate thing to do? Come on. He's interested. He told me he wants to feel the love from me right now. So I'm not going to have him on a call. I'm gonna have them in a Zoom with me.
Yeah, get him on a Zoom.
That's the exact process. And everything that I just went through with Matt is part of your flow chart. So remember, there's a 10-point flow chart. It's called the attraction flow chart. Soon to be the Attractify flow chart. And it basically happens in each and every step that you take and every action item that you take. How you move going forward is going to be predicated based on how that person responded to you.
Eric, why did you call him? Why did you pick a guy in San Diego at Coldwell Banker?
God, I knew somebody was going to ask me that question today. You want me to tell you the truth? Yes, 'cause
Absolutely.
I hate lying. So I got a call. I talked about this. Somebody asked me this a couple of weeks ago, and Deanna asked me, and I'm not going to be disingenuous. I'm always thinking outside the box. Always, 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 always. I'm a contrarian. If you tell me you're going to do something, I'm going to figure out something different. So the head of California growth calls me up a couple of weeks ago and said, I love how you.
Hire?
Yeah. This stays between us guys. Okay, there's got to be some kind of confidentiality when I share things with you, because I want to be able to talk from my heart. So he started talking to me about, the success that I've had and yada, yada. And I've only been here 4.5 years and I've got almost 3,000 people, yada, yada, yada. So thank you. I said, how can I help you? He loved that question. He just got a job as the head of growth in the state of California. So I said, how could I help you achieve your goals? Which led to this question. Do you happen to have a list of the top teams or brokerages in the state of California that I can call? I'd like to help you achieve your goals. And he provided me a list that had hundreds of names, and it's coded hot, moderate interest, no interest. Every growth person, everybody, pick a state. And I don't even live in California anymore, right? I spent 20 years in Southern California, 20 years in Northern California. I left 7 years ago, right? Don't even live in California. If somebody else from Michigan had called me, doesn't make a difference where you're calling, because we're a cloud-based company. So it does not make a difference in the state. If you're in California, I love what Matt said before. Eric, I want to reach people in Miami. Good, because he's in Miami. He's leveraging off of that. But you don't have to say, I don't know if I don't think California's the best state, to be honest with you. I don't. But I think that in this particular time, I was smart enough to ask that question. He furnished me a list of every independent brokerage and top team leader in the state of California. And I work on that list. And then I turned around, and Martin's no longer, he won't care anything, but I used to use SmartSetter to set my appointments for me. Right? And I use SmartSetter because I made money on it. I'd convert 20% of my leads. So I track. And I know back then we got paid $2,800 for every person that we brought on the front line. If I bought 1,000 leads, spent $1,000, I had 12 appointments. If I converted 2, I'd be making 28 times 2 is 56 on $1,000 spent. So there were months that I spent $6,000, $7,000 because I made a fortune doing it. So I called Martin Ehrenstein. And I said, Martin, I don't believe in buying lists. I mean, I built my business by going to realtor.com. But I said, Martin, I need a list of 5 states. And what he did is he gave me a list of every agent in the state of Michigan, in the state of, what else did I tell him? 3 states. I just got it. And it was packed. It was perfect for me, right? So I have a list of all of these agents. So think outside the box. Think outside the box. Pick an obscure state that nobody else is. North Dakota, South Dakota, Michigan. You don't need to compete with every agent in the state of California or Florida or Texas, the 3 big states. Go into a more obscure area. So I didn't ask Martin for California. I went into obscure states that I knew that none of you would be calling into. I don't mean that. You understand the point I'm trying to make, Deanna? Yeah, that's all. But think of an obscure area and find out who at EXP is the head of growth. They all have a hit list. I knew in my mind, I thought, how do they function in their jobs? They must have a hit list in terms of who to reach out to. So think an obscure area where not everybody's calling into. I mean, I can give you it off the top of my head, right? Simple. It's really, really simple. Arkansas, Kentucky. I mean, come on. Country's huge. You have 1.5 million realtors. Get a list and have the company that you're working at provided for you. Remember, they're not doing you a favor, giving you that list. You are helping solidify their job at EXP, where they are receiving a salary compensation. And you're going to be their rabbi. You are going to be that person that helps take them to the promised land. That makes sense what I'm saying to everybody.
So I'm a little, so the guy that you got the list from, obviously.
He's the head of growth for the state of California now. Dan
Got you.
Dan,
Okay.
Dan pronounce his name again?
I missed that. Yeah, sorry. There we
It's
go.
Meyer, and he gave me a call too, so that's why I knew that, yeah, what he's trying to grow, so they need help,
Yeah, he called me too. So
Yeah.
he's reaching out to all the,
right?
you know.
But I didn't just stop there. What I did is said, okay, you want help? Give me a list. Who's in your hit list? And that's what I want you to do. So pick any area and tell that person, hey, I'd like to help you solidify building the area. You know, I know your job now is to focus on growth. I'd like to be an advocate for you. Can I go to work on your behalf? Can I go to work on your behalf?
What's the
They'll
name
give you a
Eric you
list.
said?
Say again?
What was his name you said?
His name is Meyer, but it doesn't make it. I mean, you're not going to call Meyer though.
Okay.
That's the point of the exercise.
No,
I don't want you to call Meyer and say Eric Thorland told me he gave you a list. So you're not going to do that. What you're going to do, you're going to pick an obscure area, you know, you're going to pick an obscure area and tell the person, I'd like to be of service to you. I'd like to be an extension of you. I'd like to be the person that goes out there and helps you build the region that you've just gotten. He was like, Eric, thank you. I go, great, send me a list because you'll have it in 5 minutes. It's like, great. But you know, Santush, I mean, if I were you, I mean, you like Eric, I live in Canada. Doesn't mean it has to be at the border country of, you know, Washington or Oregon. It could be Vermont, for crying out loud, or New Hampshire. Michael might not forget what I just said. Michael's going to kill me. But Michael Eisman, but you know, anywhere, it could be anywhere. It doesn't make a difference. You know, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, it doesn't make a difference. Just pick a state and work the phone. The more conversations you're going to have, the more successful you're going to be. It is a numbers game. That's all that matters. Who else? Boy, we haven't made a lot of calls this morning, but I felt like we covered a lot of ground here. Just a lot of this is really, I hope this is informative for you.
Are you still using SmartSetter, Eric? I used them years ago and got a couple agents, but just what the ROI wasn't there.
Yeah, and you got to look at the ROI. You know, Deanne, I don't do many things well. I'm like the least handy person you ever met in your life. If you said fix a flat tire, I would look at you like you had 8 heads or hang a picture on a wall. But I was really, really, really good at converting. I mean, I've written a lot of the scripts for SmartSetter. I was really, so it was a huge ROI. I mean, there were months I was spending $6,000, $7,000, but I was converting crazy amounts. I was converting almost 20%. The leads then changed for me and I stopped doing it. The quality of the leads changed. But yeah, I killed it with SmartCenter. But I think, you know, you want to get to that point where you have mastered the art of prospecting. You are so good with objection handling. You know how to ask the right qualifying questions. When Matt just said to me, hey, Eric, how would you reach out to Florida? It comes to me like this right now because I had been on that treadmill. I had been exercising my sales muscles for so long that now it's like almost second nature to me. So what you want to do is you want to exercise your sales muscles. So when you are paying for a SmartSetter lead, you could look me in the eye and say, hey, Eric, I'm going to convert 20% of this. I'm going to convert 10% of this. If you convert 5%, you're still making money. But I was converting at such a high level that when I was spending $7,000, I mean, there are times I was nervous to, you know, spend that much money. It's a lot of money. But I mean, the ROI was phenomenal for me. And then when the leads changed, I stopped it. And then what I came back to realize is I don't really need that anymore. I mean, I've got 42 FLQA. I have almost 3,000 people in my organization. And I think that picking up the phone and connecting with people allows me to be the best professional version of me. It allows me to feel like, you know, I'm putting my heart out there. I'm connecting with people. I'm leading by example for my organization. And, I enjoy it. I don't look at it as being tedious. I make it fun for myself. I'll sit out in the balcony looking at the water. I mean, it's like I create a fun environment. So it doesn't feel like a task. It feels like I get to be of service. It's like going to a soup kitchen, just using my voice. I'm using my voice and I'm listening and I'm trying to be of service to people. But no more, I don't use Smart Setter anymore. I've not for a while. Who else? All right, let's make a couple of calls here. Boy, if we went way over today, but listen, there were questions you guys asked. You guys asked some really good questions.
Thanks, Eric, for answering all of that.
Yeah, I wanted to be honest. When you ask that question, I always feel like, when you're disingenuous or dishonest, it always comes back and you have to remember what you said. So no, I got the list from mayor. It's honest. It's honest. But all of you could, reach out and pick somebody. I mean, think, nobody's calling New Jersey, can guarantee it. What a great state. And New Yorkers and people from the East Coast tend to be very direct. They want you to have that script. They don't want you to waste their time. What do you got? It's always like, got it. You have 30 seconds. What do you got? Right? I mean, Trish, think about it. Arlene is the biggest agent in New Jersey, #1 agent in the world at Weichert. Met her in a cold call. She's eager to talk. Cold call. Right, Trish? I mean, you heard the conversation. That's Trish's person.
I have a
We'll see.
question.
Uh-huh.
Not, so when you're making cold calls in production, one of the things I've always heard is that if they want to talk to you, you're on the wrong call, right? That like, if you just get somebody who's chatty, you're on the wrong call because they're probably not the person going to do the deal. I don't know if it's true or not. I never cut it off or I never blocked that off, but I'm curious do you see that or do you see that? I think you're really
No,
controlling the call.
I like when somebody, I want to make sure that when someone's chatty, they're not wasting a ton of my time. And how I ensure that. So I got a call from somebody who saw me they saw me in a YouTube video. And she called me the other day and she's very sweet, but boy, she's really long-winded and she's a little crazy. I think she could be really good at building an organization.
It was me.
She's in Austin, Texas, and I think she's coming. It was so nonchalant. And she talked and talked and talked. And I just, second call, I thought, I'm just going to ask her questions. I'm going to have a boundary in place. I'm going to let her know I've got a meeting coming up in 15 minutes. And that's how I handled it. But if somebody is chatting to me, if somebody's chatty, they're exposing who they are to you. And they're allowing you, they're going to indicate certain things. Your job is to get them on track by asking them questions and see if it's somebody that you want in your organization. How long have you been selling real estate for? What do you like best about your broker? What don't you like? What would you do to change or modify that relationship? Right? Would you be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform? So it comes back to you asking the questions, and so you're now in control of the conversation. Because if they're going on and on and on talking about the weather outside, that's a waste of your time. That's not fair to you. And you're doing yourself and your business an injustice. So I would not allow for that.
Thank you.
All right, anybody gonna make a call right now? All right, guys, I have not stopped talking for 3 hours. All right, I'm gonna pull up the list. Okay. Okay, I spoke to him. How do I make this bigger on my screen? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to figure this out right now. All right. Okay, hi. Christina, here we go. Why is this not allowing me to do this? Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys and gals, I'm having a hard time pulling this up here. I can't find the phone numbers. All right, I'm gonna go to a different source.
You want to hear a quick funny call story while you're looking there?
Yes, Nick, I was hoping to hear your story.
So I made this one call and it was one of those very flat, hello, right? You know, it's like the call's over before it even begins. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
said, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I work with this person. We were in touch with you a while ago. You know, do you remember us? No. And I said, are you happy to be hearing from me now? And he said, no. And I said, okay, thank you very much.
That's it.
I mean, I got like a little bit of emotional intelligence, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just the open-minded meter that I'm looking at. I'm also looking at whether this person is somebody that I want to work with, you know what I'm saying? So
That's
you
a
know,
very, very fair statement. Very fair statement.
so he disqualified himself. Next.
Exactly. All right. Let's call here. All right. I am in a new database. So I'm going to call people right now that have absolutely blown me off. That were one point in time, they're cold as cold could be. I haven't spoken to most of these people in over a year, but here we go. I have my list and we're going to call. All right. Okay. Hey, Michelle. 2307.
Hi, you have reached the voicemail box of Michelle Stanger of Stanger's Homes. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Thanks and have a great day.
Hey, Michelle, Eric Orland calling. I was just thinking about you. We had a really nice dialogue about a year or so ago, and I know we had fallen out of touch, and I wanted to circle back. I think that you went in the direction of opening up your own brokerage firm, and I just wanted to reach out, see how that was going for you. If you get a chance, would love to reconnect with you. I'm at 415-595-9000. Hope you're doing well, Michelle. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Relationship selling, no hard sells. That is 615.
Did you call? Please leave your name.
That makes two of us. Michelle Weist. 603. Two, 4955. I should have called this guy from a different number.
Hi, this is Mike Santini. I'm sorry I'm not here to take the call at this time. Please be so kind to leave me your name and number, and I'll be back to you soon. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hey, Mike, Eric Orland, a blast from the past. How are you? It's been a long time since we had last connected. I just want to touch base with you and see how things are going for you. I know the market has changed dramatically. I wanted to just see how you were adopting to it. If you get a chance, it would be wonderful to reach out and say hello and reconnect with you. My number is 415-595-9000. Thanks, Mike. Look forward to talking to you soon. Boy, this is terrible today. Right. Anybody want to jump in and make a call? I'm ringing. All right, you guys are having me work today.
Hi, you've reached Meg Nichols at 828-999-2899. Please leave a message and phone number, and I'll return your call as quickly as possible. Thank you. Bye-bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Meg, it's Eric Orland calling from EXP. It's been a while since you and I had last connected, but I was just thinking about you, wanted to reach out and see how things are going for you in this market. Would love to reconnect and say hello and just touch base. If you have a chance, you could reach me at 415-595-9000. Thanks. $707. 89. Mm. This is terrible today.
You have reached the voicemail of Kathleen Bennett of Remax First Realty. I'm not able to take your call at the moment. Please leave a short message and I will return your call shortly.
Hey, Kathleen, it's Eric Orland calling. How are you? It's been a while since we've last spoken. I just want to see how things are going. I know that you hadn't been feeling well. Just want to check in and touch base with you, see how things are going for you in this market as well. If you get a chance, it would be great to hear your voice. Feel free to give me a call, 415-595-9000. Thanks, Kathleen. Look forward to saying hi.
Hi, you've reached Liz O'Gara.
Sorry about that. I
Call
was
has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Oh, I just was on a call the whole time. I dialed, you were kind of answering some questions. I said, I got to get going dialing. So, and I first call, pick up, and it's a gal that, former KWTL. And, I had reached out to her a year and a half ago, and then kind of just every now and then, she drinks the Kool-Aid, bleeds red, KW for life, you know. But she said, look, I'll tell you, I like the way you recruit. If anything were to change, you'd be my first call. And so we just had a really good connecting call. I'm going to send her about our YouTube channel, the Empty Nester Diaries, which is our travel channel. She loves travel. So we'll just, you know, kind of build relationship over time and keep it moving.
Matt, how many people do you have in your database?
In my database? Actually, because of this has been a blessing. I need to go through and refine my database. So I couldn't give you that straight answer other than it's really large, but it's not all agent attraction database. You're saying just agent attraction database?
Yeah. Yep.
I'd have to look that up because before I went to Fiji, I was having my VA kind of scrub it and kind of refine it down. But it's a couple thousand at least.
Yeah, you want to make sure, all of you want to make sure that your database is never convoluted, that they are categorized, that your lead flow is categorized properly to ensure that you're spending your time wisely. So what I'm going to recommend to you again is being really well versed in terms of what is a hot lead, what is a cold lead, and what is a warm lead, right? I should have said hot, warm, cold instead of hot, cold, warm. But hot lead, again, someone who you believe is going to join your organization within the next 4 months. They're giving you distinct buying signals that they are moving over to EXP, and it's simply about timing. A warm lead, they're going to join your organization from 4 months out to 12 months. 4 months to 12 months. They're waiting for some transactions to close. They've got something going on with their business, but you believe they're coming. A cold lead was probably warm or hot one point in time, but now you can no longer tell if they have any intention of joining EXP or your organization. They've gone cold on you, right? But you've already put the time to put them in your database. They at one point in time were categorized as a warm lead, right? Or a hot lead.
Yeah.
You've downgraded them, but they had one point in time had indicated interest, and it doesn't hurt you to keep them in your database and simply send them out a drip campaign and follow up once every 6 months.
Sure. Yep.
But remember, if you know that you've got a strong database, you know you've got a strong business. And I don't care if that's in production. I don't care if that's in rev share. You must have a strong database. That needs to be your focus. And it needs to be clean. It can't be convoluted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it was really interesting, Eric, where you're like, your $1 to my $100, because that's a conversation that anybody could have about any sales position.
Yeah.
If you do this for 90 minutes a day, because salespeople don't get on the darn phone, like guilty, right? 90 minutes a day.
You know, it's interesting, and you're right, especially real estate salespeople. But Ann, think about this. Let's just take the industry at large. What does a title rep do all day long?
The stock.
They're in front of realtors all day long in an effort to be able to secure their real estate business. Right? Think about it. If you were a title rep getting paid a salary, you would have metrics in place where you have to hit those metrics, otherwise you'd lose your job. If you treated your business with that same level of respect and determination and focus, it would almost be impossible not to be successful. So that comes up for me. And when you're thinking about building your business, right? I'm going to tell you, a great person to build your business with is a title rep. I have a really close relationship with somebody who's become a very dear friend to me. Her name is Susan Greenberg. We're going to call her right now, as a matter of fact, before I hang up the phone today. And she was at North American Title for over 40 years. She just retired. She moved from Fort Lauderdale to the boonies of North Carolina. I don't know where she's at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dangle, leveraging off of that incredible relationship that she's built with thousands of realtors, to see if she'd be interested in maximizing her income earning potential in her retirement by leveraging off of that incredible brand that she spent years building. Hey, Siri, call Susan Greenberg. I love
Calling
Siri.
Susan Greenberg.
How cool is Siri? Doesn't bite, nothing. It's an amazing relationship.
Right now, but I'm anxious to chat with you. Leave your name and number and I'll give you a call back as soon as I can. Have a great day. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
I have to tell you something. I cannot get used to your voicemail. You've reached Susan. It's like no longer you've reached Susan with North American Title. It's like I can't get used to that. Anyway, I'm thinking about you. Haven't spoken to you in a while. I am here in Miami. I've been here for several weeks now, and then I'm staying through next week. I'm here for EXPCon. Give me a call. We haven't touched base in a while. I know we had talked about potentially doing something together. Susan, I would love to do something with you. And again, leverage off of that incredible brand that you built. I'd love you and I would love working with you. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us to explore here. So give me a holler when you can. I'm around and about. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Bye. I do. She's a good friend. And I'm going to treat that conversation with love and respect because I do love her. But I am not going to waste my time. I'm going to qualify her the same way that I would qualify a cold call. Doesn't mean I'm not going to tell her I love her and we're not going to, I'm not going to reflect, the fact that we're friends, but I'm absolutely going to take her through the same qualifying process to see if she's serious about building an organization. And if she's not, it's okay. I'm not judging her. I'm just electing how I want to spend my time. Judy, is this resonating with what I'm saying? I'm saying this for you, by the way, because I know that you struggle with this a little bit because you're so loving and kind. I want to say something to you. You could be loving and kind, but you also have to be loving and kind to yourself. And that requires you sometimes to ask the hard questions, and you may not like the response. Would you be open-minded to EXP? No, I would not. Great. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. No more dysfunctional relationships. No more. We're going to stop those today. No more dysfunctional relationships. Healthy, good relationships by people that are open-minded to simply exploring, to seeing if it's a fit together. Well, I'm not interested in having a follow-up phone call. If I'm interested, I'll get back to you. Oh, that's not the reason I called today. I was called today to see if I could be of service, get you acclimated with EXP, and then have a conversation to see if it's right for you and me. If the platform allowed you to have tools and systems made available to you that you don't have at your existing brokerage firm with multiple streams of income as well, is that not something you might find compelling? Would you simply take 15 minutes to compare and contrast what you're receiving versus what you're receiving at your existing brokerage partner versus what EXP has to offer, to see which one aligns with you and the direction you'd like to take your business? Nick, what do you got? Nick, what do you got?
Sorry.
It's okay, bud.
So yeah, just along the lines of what you just said, like, can nice people do agent attraction? One thing that has been helpful to me is an old restaurant term that I learned, growing up, front of house, back of house. And it's pretty straightforward. The front of house is where everything is all pleasant and nice. And yes, right away, great choice. I'll be out with your, and then once those doors swing into the kitchen, right? For those of us who've worked in kitchens, it's a whole different language for starters, right? And emotional intensity, but both are required, because if there isn't that fervor in the back of the house and the unskilled communication, whatever, nothing makes it out to the front of the house. Nobody eats, And so the way that I translate that into my own thinking is that I have developed a very aggressive, assertive, defensive dialogue that I have within myself that never reaches past my lips to anybody else, but that fuels me and also creates great humor situations when my, East Coast sarcastic retorts start coming up and stuff, and it becomes very entertaining. So I feel like it's possible to have both voices without violating my spiritual status. So thank you.
Love that, Nick. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Guys, I've got, Thursdays are long, so this starts at 1 o'clock and goes till 5 p.m. I'm on a juicing diet, so I feel like I am up, not to be overly personal, but I have got to urinate every hour from the hour. It's unbelievable. I have been in this cleanse for 9 days. 9 days. So I am going to quickly use the bathroom, and then I'm going to jump on the 4 o'clock call. So I want to wish everybody a good rest of the day. I may see some of you at 4 p.m., but thank you for being here today. I really enjoyed spending time with all of you.
Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
You
Eric.
appreciate you too, Trish. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.